Hey guys, we're back here on the Hunter Call the Wild, and today we're going to be doing a Great One Fallow Guide for here in Emerald Coast, Australia. This is the newest map to come to Call the Wild, and I am going to dare to say probably is going to be the most popular map that has ever come out. And we now have Great One Fallow in the game with this update, and there have been lots of changes to them. So today I'm going to show you exactly how to set up a fallow grind here in Australia. I'm going to share with you a hotspot map showing you where all of my drink zones are for fallow. You won't have exactly the same zones as I do, but it definitely should help you to find your drink zones. Now we have a couple big boys. So this guy here is a white. That is a new fur type. It is uncommon. We also have chocolate, which I will show you a little bit later on. Okay, we're gonna take these two big boys down. But guys, let me know in the comments what your best trophy from Emerald Coast has been so far. Love hearing about all the amazing trophies coming off of this map. I have the 7mm bolt, which is not my favorite. There we go. Beautiful, we got them both. And so right now we are on the top of the river, and the riverways are absolutely incredible for fallow deer drink zones. Now fallow deer drink from 10 to 1300 here in Australia and on every map that has fallow deer, which is also AWAROA and HIRSCHFELDEN. So you can do the Great One Grind on any of these three maps. And where are you going? Oh, he is beautiful. 221 is a really nice fallow. So there you go. White, that is uncommon. This is the new harvest screen, and there's our shot there, double lung with the 7mm. Fallow actually have a new diamond trophy rating. It used to be 251 and change, and now it is 249.99 with the last update. So that is really good, and that is the true score. And if you would like to check out the details, you just click into each, and you can get all of the details for how he came up with that score. What a stud. And another big boy, holy moly. And this guy is a 217, so they're very similar. This is the dark fur type, and fallow were also remodeled with the last update, and they look completely amazing. Just so great. They just keep making this game better and better. And there are lots of kangaroos in this area. I actually spotted a 9 legendary on my way over here. I will go back and get them later. Now, I actually wanted to rerun this riverway to find more zones because I think there should be more zones in here, and I am missing some. So the very first thing you want to do when starting your fallow grind is find all of your drink zones. So to do this, you want to change the time to between 10 and 1300. Now, I wouldn't change the time right to 10 o'clock because you want to get them into their zones. If you do that, you'll be waiting for them to show up. So it's just more efficient to change it to 11. And we have more fallow coming in. So to find my zones, what I do is I do a lot of running. You got to cover and check a lot of water sources because fallow are very evenly distributed. They're all over the map here in Australia. The only place you won't find them is along the east coast where the crocs are, but they even will be in some of the areas that the crocs are. So it can be challenging to find those zones because they get spooked out a lot. There aren't a lot of them, but there are a few, and finding all of your drink zones is only going to help you. What it will do is help you to get more consistent respawns. Sometimes when you don't get any respawns at all, the culprit is just not having enough zones. I believe there are about 45 to 55 drink zones in Australia. There isn't a huge amount, not like, you know, Moose in New England with over 200 drink zones. We don't have to worry about that with the fallow here in Australia, which is delightful. So I'm just going to be doing a lot of running along the riverways, spotting into the distance, picking up need zone indicators. That will definitely give you the zone. So when I am setting up for my fallow grind, this is what I have for me for inventory. And yes, I have renamed it and saved it as the fallow grind. So I'm only carrying one weapon with me, and I have chosen the Zarza 308, which comes in the Modern Rifles weapon pack. Now, when you are grinding fallow, you can use any 4-8 rifle, whatever your favorite is, will do just fine. Then you want the corresponding ammo in the polymer tips. I have both the Argus and the Hyperion. Now, I barely use the Argus, but I have room for for it, so why not? I do have the antler rattler, and that is the collar for fallow deer. Then I have the first aid and scent eliminator. Now you're not going to need the first aid kit too much, but you might run into an aggressive kangaroo or even a croc, so not a bad idea. I have the Apex View binoculars. I don't need the Gen Zeros. We're only day hunting. And then I do have tents and tripods on me. Carry them both. And that's my inventory. So just to show you where you're going to find the most condensed zones, the river is loaded with fallow. Just about every single one of these zones has fallow deer drinking. Those are all fallow, and they go up the river and it stops right about there. And then there are no fallow up this part, and there is one zone at the very top. You won't have fallow drinking at every single solitary water source or lake on the entire map, but you will have them at most of them, and they do all have to be checked because I see other people have drink zones where I don't, and I do have zones sometimes where they don't, so they literally can be at any water source, just not on the east side. My other favorite couple spots, this lake down here is absolutely amazing for me. Let's go have a look. Now, when you are looking for your zones, you want to drop a tent and tripod when you find a really good zone. Set up on it right away. You can always change it later if you don't want to stick with that for one of your shooting lakes. Setting up on the go is definitely the way to go. It'll save you a lot of time and energy because it's really hard to remember where your very best zones are. I like to put my tripods down right away when I'm setting up, and one of the reasons is because I am so new to this grind, it actually tells me which zone I'm going to be farming, because I could come into this zone and maybe I'm going after this one, but by putting a tripod here, I instantly know that this is the direction I need to head into to find the fallow I want to shoot. Now, a quick trick for you guys: if you change the time and you're going around and you travel to a tent and you have no fallow, this is a little trick that may help. It helps quite a bit for me, but not every time. Just go into your tent, put the time forward by 1 minute. Now, it can be very expensive. If it brings the deer in and I can afford it, then I'm going to spend the money, and there you go. We have fallow deer. It works just about every time. It's pretty insane. It is a really cool little trick. So all in all, you want to be setting up and using all 16 tents. You're going to need 16 tents and at least 16 tripods, but the tripods you don't have to have right away. You can add them as you go, as you make cash, because you will be making cash doing any grind because you're constantly shooting and picking up animals. So 16 tents is imperative just to get around. They are 16,000 each, and I do believe that adds up to about 256,000 in-game dollars. So it is expensive, but those tents you will use forever. When you're done the fallow grind, you can pick them up and use that, and use those tents for the next grind. Now, sadly, I do have another zone over here, but not there for me right now. But I love this spot because I can come in here, shoot 2 bucks, they won't spook, and then I can shoot 2 more over here. So I can get 4 in one spot, and that is great. Now, I only shoot 2 bucks from each zone, and they just seem to respawn cleaner, and things seem to go better that way. So that is what I'm sticking with. Let's shoot a couple of them right now. Now, I like to use the Hyperion scope because I find it so much easier for taking multiple animals down. I can just see so much more. Let me show you the comparison. Now, with the Argus, I am zoomed in. Now, I could probably take 2 of them, but I'm just more comfortable. First of all, I don't have this big black rim in my way, which is going to be blocking part of my field of view. I find with the Argus, you're going to be a lot more shaky because you are zoomed in, but with the Hyperion, I can see so much more. You will get very used to it, and you will be able to take good shots with it once you get used to it. Okay, so I'm 0 to 150. Let's see if we can take 2. We did. Now, I find that the deer spook pretty quick. Sometimes it is tough to get that perfect shot on the second deer. So be ready. So once you have found all of your drink zones, I would start by setting up on 16 different zones. And we're not going to get into herd management today. There will be a separate video on that. But to spawn a great one, all you literally have to do is shoot the males over and over and over again. And I would recommend shooting the 3s and the 4s. You're going to get more diamonds that way. And I think that other zone is coming in right now. Perfect timing. Now, as far as setting up with your tents and tripods, tripods, what I do is I mark the zone and then I literally run 250 meters back and drop my tent. Now tripods I like to have about 175 to 200 meters away. If I can have it within 200 meters, I do prefer that, because then if you put out a call, they can hear you. You have to be within 200 meters for the caller to work. So that is a chocolate. This guy right here, that is an uncommon. They're really, really beautiful. Actually, I have a level 5 chocolate on my map. I will show him to you. Pretty sure he is going to make diamond. He is a big boy. We've already been trolled a few times by Fallow in Australia. All right, so there we go. That is a silver, dark spotted, and a dark. Very sweet. And there he is. Look at that big boy. So Fallow go to level 5. They can make diamond at level 4 and level 5. And that is the new chocolate uncommon fur variation. And he is absolutely beautiful. So you're going to be seeing a lot of these if you do stick to a grind. And there is a multi-mount with 3 Fallow bucks, which is amazing. So once you have found all of your drink zones and set up with tents and possibly tripods if you can afford them, tents are the most important, then it is time for the fun part, and that is the shooting. So basically what you want to do is change the time so that it is Fallow drink time. So I would set it for 11 o'clock to start, and then just start doing your rotations. So you want to take down as many deer as you can in the shortest amount of time possible. So then you're going to go from zone to zone, and I take 2 bucks out. There is no need to ever shoot females. In fact, it can be detrimental to your grind to accidentally shoot a doe. What can happen, sometimes it causes zones to break off and more zones to spawn, and can really mess with your grind. So try not to shoot the females. And that's it. You just do your rotations, get to all of the zones that you possibly can. I'm going to be shooting 3s and 4s only. So if I do get to a zone and I have nothing but small deer, I will pull up my tent and tripod and move to another zone that has bigger deer and continue shooting, and just keep doing that, and hopefully within a reasonable amount of time. I mean, it's hard to say. I'm seeing people get great ones in as little as 50 kills. I'm seeing a lot of people at 400 kills, and there are people out there who are over 2,000 kills and still do not have a Fallow great one. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen to me. I am now set up on both maps, AWAROA and here in Australia, and I do plan to take a Great One Fallow off of both of those maps. Now, the one thing I will say about Australia is it is definitely thicker for the Fallow grind than doing it in AWAROA. It's a lot more wide open on that map. As you can see, I couldn't see them too well from my tripod. I'm just better getting off and shooting them. And double splat. Now let's talk about solos. Anytime you find a fallow deer alone in a drink zone, that is a solo zone. Now, I do not shoot solo zones unless there are big deer in them. I'm going to be leaving them because when you shoot them, they vanish. Anytime you shoot the last animal out of a zone, that will delete the zone. And when you delete a zone, you have to go and re-find it. It's a gigantic pain in the neck and takes up a lot of time. Don't like wasting time. I just want to keep shooting. And that is not a bad fallow, 199.34 with a double lung. And then we have a beauty chocolate here, and he is a silver. We will take it. When you do shoot solo zones, you want to do it on a fresh game startup. Then I leave the game, come back, and go and refine those zones. Okay, let's have a look at that hotspot map. Okay, so yellow dots are where I have drink zones for fallow in Australia, and there are a few red dots. That's where there can be zones. That's where I Buy Premiums has zones, and I just haven't found zones there yet. So as you can see, they are evenly distributed all over the map. You just don't have to check the East Coast. I will be making a Great One Fallow guide for AWAROA, so definitely make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out on that, and click right here, guys, to learn all the very best hotspots for every species in Emerald Coast. Definitely leave a like. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will definitely see you guys in the next one.